All them blessings to you. Maboyka, maboyka, ati a ituno kina ati aono. Sisters and brothers, welcome, greetings, rahubat. Ahlan wa sahlan, them good greetings, and shalom, shalom alaikum to you, shalom to the family, Musar. I'm just gonna go ahead, because it's going to be documented. So maybe later at your convenience, you can look back at this particular topic and broadcast that I'm doing right now. And so, we're going to continue on speaking about the different, and these are things that I want you to consider. Consider this because there's so much knowledge out there, and we have to a lot of time think out the box. You know what I'm saying? When dealing with allegory, metaphors, and literal statements, literal words. You know what I'm saying? You have to know the difference. In the Islamic school, they call that Baina and Furqan. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what's allegorical, what's symbolic, and knowing the difference of those things. Because if you don't think out the box and you don't reason these things out, you can get tripped up. You know what I'm saying? In the center, in the what they call the first eye, in that center, you could be alluded to illusions and get caught up in certain doctrine and dogma when which can stop you from connecting to the source, which is natural nature. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this I want to speak about, a lot of it is speculative. You know what I'm saying? It's not applied science. The only way to become applied science is when you have occultists and you have individuals that actually form organization based on these doctrine and dogma. They form certain organizations and schools of thoughts, and you can actually build an institute, a school, and teach. Make this part of your curriculum. So, with that being said, this is the University of Truth. I'm a graduate student from the Ansarullah University of Truth, which was a university setting that we set out to build with the help of the Prime Minister of Sudan, or the Sudanese and Ansars in Sudan, and that is our vein. It's our sastilla. You know what I'm saying? It goes back into the Grand Lodge, where the Sheikh Mahmoud, which you will speak about later on. I want also to anybody who's interested and to check out The Lightning of the East, a book that my brother Hansu Amunwe, it's also featured in it, and the book goes into also Man of Many Faces. It's the continuation of Man of Many Faces, and in there speaks about the Sicila, the schools, Mahmud, who was Mahmud, Sheikh Harun, who was Sheikh Dawood, who were these men that were in America and teaching under the guise of Islam, of course, but they were teaching Sufi teachings, And when you look at Sufi, Suf, pure Suf, cloak, you can cloak yourself into many different schools of thoughts, and many different schools of thoughts. You can cloak yourself because the main premise, and it's predicated on the universal, unconditional caring that's implemented and that is spread out through all doctrines, all schools of thought, all religions. No matter if you go to Buddha, no matter if you go to Hindu, no matter if you go to the Celtic, wherever you go, there's always that higher sense of unconditional caring. You know what I'm saying? Unconditional care. Always. So that's suf. That's the pure. Ikhlas. Pure ones. Right? That's the kubat, the center that spread out and you know, form many different schools of thoughts. But you got to get back to the center of the kubat, right? But that's the school. And you know, I'm honored and I'm grateful for the fact that I was a member and a student of that particular school of vein, you know, school of thought. And it goes all the way back. So, you know, we were able to study comparative religion, study theology, study many different schools of thoughts like Judaism. And not only study it, but actually experience it and experiment with it. In other words, actually live it by those laws, principles, the garb, the doctrine, the language. We actually experience it, because that's the best teacher that we have is experience. And of course, experimentation, and then also reasoning, so you can explain things, define things. You know, when you have this combination, you know what I'm saying, it helps solidify, it helps you stay focused, and it helps you stay grounded, and you can seek to enlighten yourself and enlighten everyone around you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to share with you. You know what I'm saying? That's we want to share that. You know, like I said, you know, I'm on my second curve in life. You know, what they call the crystallized intelligence, where you get to be a mentor, sharing certain things. We were trained to be spiritual masters, you know, mastering the art of inspiring through the different doctrine, through the different concepts and ideas. And because we experienced and experimented and experienced these schools of thoughts, we gain wisdom, which is knowing what's right and wrong in the history of things. So we knew what was wrong. You know, if you live the culture of Islam, right, in a village, and you live that culture of Islam, and the pure Islam, you pray 5 times a day, you read the Quran, you dress the dress, and you know, you engage yourself in this cultural expression, this condition, right? You experience that, you know? So you gain certain things. You get to see what works and what doesn't work. There's many things that didn't work. For instance, I'll give you an example. Many things that didn't work for us isolating ourselves in a village, in a community, and the children being brought up. You know what I'm saying? In this isolated condition. There's benefits of that, but then there's not beneficial, because when they have to go back out to the world, now they have a perspective, the dunya and the evil, you know, they have this perspective. And that's what you can learn from experiencing, and then you get to know, hey, listen, I know now what not to do, I know now because I experienced it. You know what I'm saying? I experienced certain things in life that now I know, you know. I mean, if you fall into it again, then you'll fool, you know. But they say, you know, I'll fool me twice, you know, I'll trick me twice and I'm a fool. But, you know, again, those experiences, those knowledge and experiences taught us of what's right and wrong in things, you know, like growing up in the Bronx. I grew up in a neighborhood, drug infested, and a lot of things that engage and you know what I'm saying, and got caught up. I was in it, but not really of it. You know what I'm saying? I cloaked myself in that. But then I seen that there are things that you do that you don't do in the streets. There's street codes. There's certain things that you have to watch out for. So as you live your life and you grow, now you get to look back and says, man, I know now that walking in this hood, I know how to conduct myself, and I know exactly what not to do, what to do and what not to do. So that's wisdom. And we're going to speak about that, though we have what we refer to wisdom of the dark. The dark. The dark is the shadow, the dark. You know what I'm saying? That sunken place, the wisdom of the dark. And when we deal with darkness, or I prefer saying voidness and vacuum. It's caught up in a vacuum, is in this void. It's not, it's unseen. You know what I'm saying? That world, it's a world where imagination takes place. And I spoke about that before, about imagination and how you use that to squeeze out these ideas and concepts, which are protons or particles and phonons and tones and stuff. You squeeze it out and you put it into a form and order with your imagination to create something. You know what I'm saying? So let's go in. Hold on one second. Let me get out of here. I want to speak about this topic because hey, first of all, peace, all investments to you. I figure I'd come on here very lightly. So I wanted to speak about this topic. Last night, I did visit the Lion's Den. Shout out to JJ, Karima, and everybody that was on there. Very intelligent, very good points that were made. And a matter of fact, even Sanetta popped up, and I was wondering, why did he pop up? Why did he pop up? And I should have went on camera and saluted him, because I have let me tell you something. I'm a forgiving person. I want forgiveness. I want people to forgive me, and at the same time, I want to forgive, because that's the enlightenment self when it comes to the heart energy center, right? So, I forgive my brother, and I tell you like this, and I want him to forgive me if there's anything that I did that gave, that kind of rattled him a little bit. Kind of like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me. You know what I'm saying? I'm being myself, but at the same time, I forgive you, because there were certain things that you said that you assumed that wasn't factual, and I can understand that like I will come to the aid of my brother, Hansu. I will come to his aid at some time. And sometimes I have a different tactic. I don't do things the way he does it, but I have to respect it. He's being himself. He's got to do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm there with him, you know what I'm saying? And if his coat needs to be pulled, I will pull his coat. So I understand that if somebody talk very derogatory, make certain statements about his character, I immediately would put it like that. No. Don't do that, because that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? If it's done in a way to prove a point, a beneficial point, then it's like, hey, that's your perspective, and it's a good points that you're making, and so and so and so. Just as long as we don't get so ghetto and so dramatize things too much. Take it out of the pocket, like they say, being uningenuine. But I still love my brother. I still love my brother, Sanetta. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with a lot of things that he does, but I understand. I understand. I understand why he does the things that he does, and so I have to accept that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to. I don't have to engage in it, but I got to look at it and say, hey, listen. That's the way you think. That's the way you act. That's your character. I'm just here to let you know that this is me. This is my character, and it's not that we're at odds with each other and one character is better than another character, because the character and personality of natural nature is above all. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that I'm against you, and not that I'm, not that I don't. Like I was saying, I don't hate people. I don't, you know what I'm saying? But I'm the type that if you do something and I feel that, okay, I think it's time that we need to distance ourselves for a bit. We need to distance ourselves. So that's the reason why I haven't been popping up too much in his podcast. I do listen, but I don't quote things in there because my name will pop up. My wrench was taken away. I believe so. I don't know. I'm gonna test it out. But I don't care about those things. You know what I'm saying? Being a moderator and wrenches, I don't care about those things. That's not important to me. You know what I'm saying? If you trust me with that, I'm going to use it to the best of my ability, and that's it. But I'm always going to be myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to appear. You know what I'm saying? And I want him to say, hey, listen, either you forgive me and we go on, you know what I'm saying, and exchanging ideas and concept and whatever, or you try to come at me and you try to, shame me in any way. Because if you try to shame me in any way, trust me, I'm going to push back. I'm going to push back because I have a willpower. You see, you can't shame somebody if they have a willpower, their determination, they're gonna push back on that. You know what I'm saying? So, and with that being said, and if you listen to the podcast that Jabari made with that other brother, with Heru, and what they mentioned, I appreciate it. I'm not that much out the pocket, and I seem to be a little measured. And there's things that I said, I wasn't so derogatory, and I wasn't bang. I don't bang on people like that unless they want me to. I can engage. I can have fun. Bro, we used to rank on each other in the corner in the Bronx. Snap, what they call snapping at each other, right? Talking about each other until they got to a point where they don't talk about my mama and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But, let's rank on each other. You know what I'm saying? I can get down like that. Of course. I'm from the hood. I hung around. You know what I'm saying? I like to, I like fun. That's fun. That's battling, So I could bang and battle, and I can, if you want to challenge my sense of reasoning, and it's for you to prove that I'm being eluded by an illusion, that I'm thinking wrong, then it's you have to prove that. You know what I'm saying? So let me go in here. So on the lines then, it was a debate that I didn't see, and with JJ and the pod, and was talking about the serpent. You know what I'm saying? The serpent. Now, there's many ways we can look at that. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about the serpent. And I didn't bring it up here. Like I said, I'm just going to do an introduction here, but then I'm going to go in depth by bringing you the dictionary and bringing you certain sources, you know what I'm saying? So you can see it, because I read a lot of stuff and I read it. And I'm a polypath. I like to read many different things, and I like to put it together. Puzzles, polypath, different school, and that's, some of us are like that, and some of us are just very stick to one school of thought, one way, that's it. But no, I'm paradoxical. I like to think here, think there, put these pieces together, put that together, you know what I'm saying, and look at different industries and different sciences and stuff like that. That's where I'm at. But anyway, so when you look at the serpent, where it mentions that in the in what they call the Bible, in the scriptures, right? You're looking at the serpent. But what they don't tell you is this. That's a very vast word now when you say serpent, right? But what do you mean? Serpent, snakes are serpents, right? Also, what they don't tell you is dragons. The feathered serpent or the dragons is a form of a serpent, serpentine, dragons. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Or people don't put that together. I say, wow, wait a minute. So you're telling me that maybe this being that was in the garden was actually not a dragon, literally, but represents symbolically of the dragon race, what they call, again, from Dracos, they call the dragon race. Dragon, that you find in many cultures, many races, many cultures, you find they use the symbol of the dragon to represent their house, their tribe. You know what I'm saying? You see this in movie when they carry and they see the picture of the dragon. The Chinese, look at their New Year. What do? The dragon. Bruce Lee entered the dragon. They personify, they amplify the dragon. You know what I'm saying? That's a serpent. You know what I'm saying? That's a culture. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the Chinese New Year, they're using the dragon. You see them, wow, wow, and the snake, and they're dancing. You know what I'm saying? You also see this in Mardi Gras. You see this in many, many, many cultures. You know what I'm saying? You see the symbol of the dragon. And the dragon is a symbol that represents a lot of houses, nobility, house of nobility. You have the nobility houses in Vatican. You have the nobility houses in China. Nobility, even in Africa. In Africa, it came by way of Saudi Arabia, Saba, or Sheba. When you look at the house of Sheba, you see the symbol of the dragon. It's been used. This is houses of nobility. You know what I'm saying? This is something I want you to consider, and this is something that we can bring into the conversation. So you said to yourself, these houses of nobility that had this symbols of the dragon, right? They had an industry. They had what they call product. They had what they call commodity. They were protected of some raw commodities. You know what I'm saying? Some houses protected, like for instance, the houses in Africa, a lot of houses did not use the symbols of the dragon. They used other symbols, you know what I'm saying? And they were protectors of the gold. When you go to Mozambique, or you go into right, the gold, you have diamonds in South Africa. There's certain houses of nobility were those were the raw materials that they invested in. They were caretakers of. So when you go into Mesopotamia, the raw material, the poppy plant, they had houses that protected that. You know what I'm saying? These houses that had, again, there was a houses of nobility, right? And there were other houses that wanted in on it. So these nobility houses, dragon houses, created what they call the Adamic people, who were to be protectors, who weren't users engaged in these opiates. Because if you look at many cultures, like for instance, the Chinese culture, opium has been in their culture. It's been used for medicine, and also it's been in their culture since ages and ages and ages. There's some movies, I think, Sherlock Holmes, where he goes into the den, right? And they in China, they had dens where they smoked opium. And they had dens where people would leave and be there for 2 days at a time, right? And seduce and sedate themselves, you know? So, and then when they come out of there, they come with another clear conscience. It's a practice, you know what I'm saying? Also, there's a movie in Wall Street, in Manhattan. There was a lot of these CEOs that used to do the same thing. They used to go to these apartments in Manhattan and spend 2 days in there with doing heroin. You know what I'm saying? Doing heroin because they wanted to sedate. It's a mental vacation that they took. So they wanted to sedate. They didn't spend more than 2 days, 3 days, because once you go past 3 days using opium, you're hooked. You're addicted. You got a problem. Okay, so you had it's an industry, it's a practice, and it was throughout ancient time. The Chinese, you look into their culture, you see it. Also the the Hindus, the smoking of the house. Also when you go into Turkey, take a trip to Afghanistan or Turkey and stuff, underneath the bridges, you see people smoking heroin, opium. It's been a practice that's been practiced for centuries. I mean, ages and ages and ages. And it's biblical. I want you to consider that. It is biblical that there was a problem. These people, these nobility, what they call, these houses of nobility, right? These dragon houses, wanted to protect this commodity. It got way out of hand. So they had to create a garden to grow it and to protect the commodity. You know what I'm saying? It's their business, And so when things get out of hand, so they created what they call the Adamic people, right? Who were given certain practices, right? practices that were to keep them away from ingesting this product, this fruit, so they don't get, because remember, there's a quote that says, and now that the man have eaten of the fruit, he now become like us. Who's the us they talking about? Now he's like us. He's in it. He's caught up all in it. You know what I'm saying? We created him so that he can teach us and to bring us sobriety and to get us away from that and to protect that. In other words, you have a business, a drug business. You don't want people doing drugs taking care of your business. Access it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy. They're going to steal from you. They're going to take it. Things are going to get out of hand. So this is the reasoning. You know what I'm saying? This is something that I want you to consider. That when you speak about in the garden, so this is flourishing garden that's set up in the east, right? This garden, flourishing garden. In the midst of that garden is this product. There's many different herbs and many different products and plants and stuff that you can eat. But in this here, there was this particular fruit that was good for food because the poppy seed is used as food. As a matter of fact, in the industry here, the meat industry, the chicken feeds, the feeds that they give the cattle and stuff has poppy in it. Because what that does, it'll put the opiates in it and it gets you addicted to that meat. You know what I'm saying? So you crave that meat. So you crave that chicken because they give it the poppy seed. It's used as a seed, it's used as a feed, and also in bread. Anybody knows about addiction and stuff and being in a program, the first thing they tell you is if you take a test, they say don't eat poppy bread or anything like that because you're gonna come out dirty. Your blood, your urine is gonna come out dirty, and it's gonna read like you've been ingesting opiates. You know what I'm saying? And so this is a practice. Even to this day and time, you see the opiate epidemic. It's out. It's used in the hospitals. And then you go in there, they shoot you with Dilaudid or morphine. And now what the Chinese did is they created synthetic opium called fentanyl. Fentanyl is killing people out there. It's killing people. You know what I'm saying? So they did that. You know what I'm saying? So that's that, and they're mixing that in, and now they have a problem. It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic now. It's becoming an epidemic because it's just going crazy out there. But this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? And this is again when you look at Genesis and you look at this biblical story, you can reason it out and you can see it. You know what I'm saying? In real time. And what's happening now and how we got to this point now, okay? That these stories are allegory, metaphors, and some of it is literal, but some of them is hidden, it's interpreted, it's interpreted and edited. So you really have to dig deep into it. And you also, again, remember I tell you, experimentation, and also definition and explanation, exploring things and reasoning things out. And that's what I'm here just to do, is to share with you and walk that walk. You know what I'm saying? That you have a lot of discussions on the internet, and they are very intelligent people, and there's some good points that are being made, but the points that are being made are not complete points. There's much more that can be explored. Much more that can be explored. So remember, the houses of nobility were representative of the dragon symbol. These houses, okay, the seed of these houses were at odds with the seed that was created in the garden of the Adamic race. And now we're going to speak about that later on, about the Adamic race and what families or what tribes were used to create the Adamic race, because that's a creation, right? We're going to go into that in another podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about Zakar and Hawa, and Zakar, the true name, Nakauba and Zakar was the true name. The males and females that were created. This tribe of Adamic people that was created from where? Okay, and put in the garden to tend it and to take care of it, right? So we're talking about the houses. When you look at it in real time, you're talking about these tribes, and you see this symbol of the dragon be, this is the representative, this is the symbol of their house. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times in stories, you know, they hide that fact, and they don't let you, give you the whole story, the whole thing. But anyway, what else? So we spoke about the opium, and I want to go more in depth into that, show you pictures and more in depth. I've spoken about this before, but now this conversation that's coming up on the internet, and this conversation about the occults and this stuff, you know, and I'm just going to share a few things, and I'm just going to chime in a little bit, and for you to consider it, you know, to give my take on it, my perspective, and also the school of thoughts that are not discussed so much. You know what I'm saying? This is the University of Truth. Truth is all the pieces of the puzzles coming together and fitting perfectly together. And this is a multiversity of truth. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna explore, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna explore this concept, you know, to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Just to consider it, think paradoxically, and just to consider it, you know what I'm saying? Because there's some great ideas out there, great concept, great narratives out there. Great. I mean, shout out to Nepal Shida, good thinker. I can see where she's coming from. She's being exposed to a lot of Michael Tassarian, which I also check out, and I see where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? You can see where he's coming from. You can see where a lot of that's coming from. That's a school of thought that I've been through. You know, we study that. We experienced that already. So I can, you know, I can stand to reason that, and I can chime in on that also. But you know, so you know, it's good points. You know that the sister is making. At the same time, JJ is making excellent points too, because again, you got to think paradoxically. The points that he's making is that, you know, it's like, you know, for instance, let's just real quickly before I end the stream about rape. You know, is rape condoned now? Because rape happens in the Bible, because it's mentioned in the Bible. Things happen, but remember, these are tribes, right, that are engaging in certain acts. It doesn't mean that the Most High, or what they say, the most high frequency or the most high principles or values that you have, it's not about this type of character and personal acts and what they call these type of acts or these type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? This type of behavior, you know, is not, you know, it's found in many instances. But for instance, like the story of Lot, people say, oh, because, you know, look at what Lot did. You want to offer his daughters to protect these angels, so that these men won't rape the men, the angels won't rape them, and gave him his daughter to rape my daughters, you know, Lot. But remember, Lot left the camp, Abraham's camp. That would not have been practiced amongst the camp of Ibrahim or the Ibri people. That would have been practiced. You know what I'm saying? Later on, when later on when the tribes spread out and people started spreading out and adding more behavior to it, and laws had to be established. But Lot left and went into Sodom. Remember, in Sodom and Gomorrah, those people there weren't Hebrewites. They weren't following Judaism. They wasn't following the laws of Ibrahim. They wasn't even following Kemetic laws in Sodom and Gomorrah. They weren't following those laws. They were following their own. They were living their own life. They found their own behavior principles and stuff. So he went there. So because that existed there, doesn't mean that the Most High allowed it. No, one thing that the Most High cannot do is be less than himself. So if you're the Most High, and how can you be less than the Most High and come down to becoming the most low? The Most High becoming the most low? But that's something to think about. That's something to explore, and that's something to think about, because that's dealing with vibrations and tones, waves, you know what I'm saying? How something high principle can be a low principle to somebody else. Why? Because remember, somebody's heaven could be another person's hell, and somebody's hell could be somebody's heaven. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at that, you know, those concepts also. So, you know, when you talk about, you know, people are so stuck on this God and the Most High, you know, the Most High, being or frequency, you know what I'm saying? Because the being, you know, Most High doesn't allow these things to happen. Doesn't allow it to happen because it does not interfere with it because it's the Most High. It does not, and now it will send ambassadors to interfere. Yes. And you know, when you look at the hierarchy, when you look at the whole structure of what they call biblical structures and angels and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? When you look at those structures, you know what I'm saying? We can discuss that. We can explore that. That's something to explore. But yeah, when you talk about the serpent, don't forget that also you have the winged serpent and you have the feather serpent, which in the Native American, they also practice that. And many throughout the world, and the dragon is a serpent. You know, you're talking about a dragon race. You're talking about a dragon symbol. You're talking about this dragon symbol you can see in a lot of cultures when they carry their flag, and the houses, and the certain houses carry in the houses of nobility, what they call nobility, carrying this symbol of the dragon, which is actually a serpent. You find that throughout life. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. All in blessings to you, and I just want to come in here, chime in real shortly, and you know, not many people here, but I hope that I know that, you know, later on at your convenience, you just check this out, okay? And if you want, leave some comment if you can, okay? And again, I have to always say this: if you can donate your free will offerings, by all means do that. That's my Cash App. Anybody, okay? And most importantly, also like the video. Like this video, okay? So all in blessings to you. Peace.